Welcome to Food Mods. Today we are not cooking, but we are going to take a summertime favorite and turn it into a fabulous showpiece so that you can take food that you can eat to a cookout. So today we're going to make a beautiful watermelon basket. It's going to be simple, it is not going to be too elaborate, but I just want to show you that you can do this too. So you'll get a watermelon. It's important that it has a flat side, okay? That flat side is what's going to help it to sit still. If you cannot find a flat one, you can shave a little bit off of one side, but you're going to end up with some leakage. So maybe best then to turn your watermelon this way. But you should be able to set it still without it rolling around. And then you're going to use a dish towel. If you need to sacrifice a dish towel for this, go ahead, but my dish towels are made for getting dirty, and if it stains, it stains. But I imagine that the watermelon juice will come out. And we're gonna make a simple basket. So I'm going to imagine a line around the center of the watermelon here, but also a handle right here. Make sure you've washed your watermelon already. If you haven't, pause this and go wash it and dry it. But if you want, you can draw it or even take your knife and sort of gently make a guide for yourself. This is not cutting it, but it's just making a little guide. And we're actually going to cut two sections. Okay, so I'm going to actually start on either side of my handle, and I'm going to drive that knife in there. And this is just a matter of carefully cutting, okay? Some people use larger knives, but I find that I can handle a knife about this size a lot better. And this particular knife has a silicone grip, so even if it gets wet with watermelon juice, it's not slippery. And that's important to me. Then I'm gonna go on the other side of this handle. It's okay to miss a little. And I've just created a watermelon handle. See that? Now what I'm going to do is cut around the center from handle to handle. If you cut through your handle, you will not have a handle anymore. And it's just a sawing motion. It's okay if you don't get all the way in. And then I'm going to go to this other side. We're just going to try to join the two. You may have to go in again. That's okay. Now that I've got that piece cut, now I can get this knife and press it all the way through and make sure I get that watermelon meat, because then I'm going to pry it off. Beautiful. Now I'm just going to set this in a bowl because we need the watermelon. Now I'm going to do it on the other side. I'm going to use a towel so it's not slippery, but it's really easy to maneuver. And I like to cut away, blade away from the handle. I don't like to cut toward the handle in case I get too exuberant and I miss. Okay, and then I'm going to drive it through again on these lines and then pry that big piece up. It wants to stick. Okay, a little more. Beautiful. We'll just stick that there. Okay, you can do this. I know it feels crazy, but now what I want you to do is we're going to remove the watermelon meat. So you're going to take your knife and slice through where the red and the white meet. And you have to be the most careful at your handle because it's not replaceable. But I like to do small bits at a time. So I start with a guide slice, which you just saw, and then I go a little deeper. And then you can push it through. Watermelon in the bowl. I'm gonna check this other side and trim out that pink. The white part is not very delicious to eat, so I'm just gonna toss that in the sink. Okay, now, sure, you have a basket, but it's full of watermelon. So we're gonna do that same kind of surgery that we did on this handle. We're gonna go around this edge, just close, right? You don't have to be super deep or get it all in one pass. This is just our starter. We want to have really big chunks if possible because they are a lot easier to chop up and serve. Now we're going to take a metal spoon and scoop it out. Well, I bent my spoon a little. This is a tough watermelon. So, you know, big pieces like that are plenty. There we go. Scooping out kind of along the guidelines that we put forth. You need to chop it. All right. So now that we're getting deeper, you can really see the basket start coming together. I'm just going to keep going. My watermelon bowl is getting very full. I've chosen a slotted metal spoon because the slots allow the juice to stay in there and I don't end up slopping juice everywhere while I'm trying to do this. I'm going to move to the cutting board now because I'm out of room in my bowl. You're just digging all the watermelon out. Now for the tiny pieces like this, we're not going to use those back in the basket. We're going to use large chunks. I'm going to pour this water in the sink so that I can continue. Now this is a good start, but I am going to now start scraping down the sides. Oh, there's still plenty of watermelon. This was a nice round one. This is going to be your at-home watermelon. Put this in a bowl and have it as a snack as a family. But your watermelon basket is going to have beautiful large chunks so that it's easy to scoop when you take it somewhere. You want people to be able to get real chunks of watermelon and not wet slivers of watermelon. So that's why we do big pieces and then we'll get all these slivers out. It's just a matter of scraping it down and getting all these pieces out. Okay, I'm gonna pour off this liquid one more time. And now you have the basics of a watermelon basket. Now I believe in you and I know that you can get fancy with me. So what I want you to do is we're gonna make little triangles. You take that knife and when you remove a little triangle, like that, it leaves a little cutout. And we're gonna do that all the way around. This is gonna take your watermelon basket from basic to amazing. I know it seems like it's something you could never do, but I am telling you, you can. Oh, I got lucky and I got the stem part in there, so now we don't have a stem part. And see how quick it is? Same knife in hand the whole time. I like the silicone handled knives when I'm working with fruit because they don't get slippery. And it's okay if it's not perfect. And we want to leave that edge by the handle alone so that we don't cut into our handle. There is no need to measure anything in a watermelon basket. A past version of myself may have wanted to measure and draw and maybe make a plan until I learned how truly simple it is and that it's not necessary because it will come out beautifully no matter what. See, I'm just cutting in and then using my other hand to grasp that little triangle, and they like to escape. That's okay. Now you can do the handle if you want, but it's far more precarious. I would not recommend that. Look at that, it's a little showpiece. Now, I am going to move over to the cutting board, and what I'm gonna do, you may not like this, but I recommend it, is I want you to take that dish towel and lay it inside. We're gonna soak up all that watermelon juice. It's gonna continue to seep. And then I'm going to show you my cutting board, which is covered in watermelon. But this is not the watermelon that we want. We wanna take these large pieces and cut them into chunks that are manageable, about that size. You can ball it if you have a baller, but honestly, that seems like a lot of work when you can just take these chunks and hack them up with the knife that's already in your hand. They don't need to be the same shape. I just don't think that's necessary. Now, if you find, see how small pieces are gonna fall off in the seedy areas, don't use those. Just simply put them to the side, but these big pieces of meaty watermelon are wonderful. Now, if you live in an area that has a lot of cows, you can ask the farmer if you can give the cows the watermelon rinds. Many cows love them. Goats, there's lots of good uses for your rinds. You can also pickle them. So we live here in Tennessee in the South, so we don't throw away our rinds. No, this is too small. So you're just gonna continue this way. And then the majority of your watermelon's not going to fit back in the basket. So you can bring a bowl of additional watermelon if you want to refill the basket at the party. But it is dry and scraped out and beautiful. Now I've already washed some blueberries and strawberries and quartered them. So you want to have a third of each fruit in your basket. So we'll just watermelon, berries, watermelon, berries. Oh, I have a berry on the loose. Watermelon, berries. Oh, this is absolutely beautiful. Now, if you want to get really clever, you can slice an apple and cut out stars with a cookie cutter in your apple slices and use a toothpick to stick it to the watermelon bowl. So I'll do a zoom in like I always do where you can see me cooking, and I'll show you how I do that. But look at this. In real time, it took only a few minutes to make a showpiece of a fruit bowl instead of just bringing some fruit to the party. I know that you can do this. I believe in you. So watch me as I now add stars to the watermelon basket using an apple, and then the whole thing is edible and you can enjoy it. It's just that simple. Now you have a showpiece with beautiful stars and beautiful fruit. It is healthy and delicious, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, dairy-free. It's just fruit. You do not need sauces and syrups on your fruit salad to make it delicious. Now, if you want to keep the apples from browning, you can take some lime juice and brush it on with a pastry brush if you like. But fruit brown, so what's the big deal? But I hope you enjoy this fruit salad. I hope you feel confident that you can make a beautiful watermelon basket. And now you have plenty of apples left over and watermelon left over for the rest of the week as well.